Breathe deeply of the glad air and live one day at a time. Know that you're precious and learn to trust. Amen. Please be seated. I laughed at early church that I finally got Jason's podium away from him. I love it. I'm going to start using it all the time. He's taller than I, so I had to lower it. I have a great story for you this morning. A friend of mine that's a motorcycle guy rides, and of course he goes to all these ride-ins, and they have bikers coming from all of the United States. And there's some serious bikers of all kinds, and some of them are kind of dangerous kind of characters, but in a way they all look the same, don't they? I mean, you look at me going, gosh, are these guys okay? Sorry if you're one of those people I've offended you. But he went, and he's a lawyer here today, so he's going to this thing, and he comes in and he says, there's a little town, so there's only one place to eat, and it's the local bar, and it's kind of a rough place. And he said, you're sitting there going like, gosh, should I be in here? Because these guys look rough. I mean, some of these guys probably are criminals. So he said, the place is kind of wild, and it's kind of beer's flying, and there's food. And he said, and all of a sudden, in one of those weird moments, it got dead quiet. He said, have you ever been to a place that's super noisy, and for some reason everybody gets quiet? And there's a big, tough, mean-looking biker on his phone saying, yes, Mom, I'll promise I won't be late. I'll be home for dinner. Isn't that great? I love it. If you look at the outside of things, you often don't get really what's going on the inside. And we can look at appearances and not know things. And so that's the context of my kind of sermon and comments with you this morning. I think it's easy to look at any group, any place, your family, look at people around you. We assume one thing, but maybe we don't see what there really is to see. So this morning I gave you just a bit of a handout. It's the conversation we're having, brought to you by your pledge. I promise I'm not going to read to you. We don't do that here. And you need to be thankful for that, because I go to meetings where they read all this stuff. And I'm going like I can read it myself. Take it home and take a look. A couple of highlights, though, I would say about us as a congregation. The chapter really does marshal our monies really well. I hope you know that at the Volunteer Ministry Center, the goal is to put people on the street into housing. And many of you work there. It got to be this huge, we're part of a national comment about this. The problem's the housing. And then as they developed their program, they had this one little gap in it. You know what it was? Who's going to help the people be accountable enough to do the things they need to get housing and stay in housing? They needed a social worker. So our chapter said, you know what? We can do that. So that's what we give our money for. We pay the salary of the social worker, and we have promised that money is going to always be there. We may go out of business, our money is going to be still given to that social worker. And Daryl Higdon does a great job. And that's what his job is, to keep the people, get them in a house, keep them in a house. Do you know what? You wouldn't believe the success rate. It's amazing. The other thing that chapter did, and we do every year, and people said, you need to tell for this. I said, well, I think they know it. No, tell it. Okay. So at our work at Green Magnet, they had a federal grant to take care of their aftercare program, all the kind of things they were doing around arts and music. They lost all the money. Our chapter once again said, you know what? We can do something about that. So we give the money to the Community School of the Arts. They are the best at this in the city. And every day their professionals are over there running that program. So be proud of it. You realize we don't advertise this. I want a Jumbotron on the back parking lot to tell stories and to announce our stuff. Y'all won't let me have a Jumbotron. I hate you for it. But I would put one. I tell you, we could do billboards like all the congregations, but we don't. Because we live quietly the integrity that we have internally. I've always been proud of St. John's for that. I did not create that. This place has been that way for well over 100 years. Well over 100 years, living that way. My guess is the 60, 70 years before that in its life, it was living that way as well. So take a look at all the things we're doing. I want to highlight one thing, though, to say creativity does thrive here. There are some people, Patty Fields in the choir is one of them. Karen Eberly helped, and there are others of you, many of you I could name. Thought of this thing about, what about the women at the Y, it's supposed to be, by the way, YWCA, not YMCA. where we're working, and I apologize, my typo. I did type this. I'm a bad typist. At the YWCA, they have women living there, recovering, doing their world, getting back on their feet. It's wonderful to watch them bloom and blossom and grow. We've been a small part of that. But Patty and some others said, one of the gaps is they don't have dental care. So Patty and a team of people started working on it, secured the facility at VMC, which was underutilized. It actually is a dental facility. She was helping. We have some other parishioners that were helping. Found a dentist, and then built a program where the Paradise Taxi, with our money, would take them, do the work. We have a parishioner who's here this morning who gave money and said, I want something to honor my mother. What do you think? And I said, man, do I know. You want to do something? We can do it. And now the stories of those women having great dental care. One came in, she had lost most of her teeth, she has new dentures. She has been working 8 months on the same job, has job increases, her pay increases, will soon move out, platform her own self, move to independent lifestyle. Don't miss that the dental care was a huge part. Do you think about that? I don't. But you see, we don't think about what we're doing to provide a baseline of real loving support to help people get on their feet and live the lives they choose to live. If this feels like an advertisement, it is. I can't tell you the honor I have and the staff has to serve you, because we look at the things going on around us. And all I'm trying to do is make sure we're not running into each other. That's what you pay me for. It's a great job. I'm into logistics. Get out of the way and let people do ministry, but make sure we're not running into each other. Make sure that the competitive things that we have for our money, our time, our energy, are coming out of the wellspring of where you all kind of want us to go. You realize you own this place. It's yours. It is not mine. I work for you. The Episcopal Church has not said this enough. You are not working for me. We are working together for God. And it is a distinct difference. And I mean this with great passion. Our church needs to get over itself. The clergy and bishops work for you. We do. There are days I disagree with you, and you probably don't like me. That's okay. It's a square deal. You didn't catch that. It was a joke. Thank you. As Tom would say, help me here. That was a joke. But you know what? We have learned to get together in a tumultuous time, really tumultuous time in our history. Think about how well we've done navigating the very difficulties that have caught up so many congregations. And it is not because we're all alike. We are very diverse, socially, politically, all kind of things make us very different. We've learned a different way to live together. So let me thank you for what you're doing. That's probably what I should have said. Living your faith. That's what it's all about. And don't miss that God blesses everything we do. God blesses everything we give. God blesses every person that we are. That is not a message that is radically preached. And the world is hungry to hear it. They hear us saying, be what we are, as if we're superior. We're not superior to anyone. We are focused because Jesus is at the heart of what we're about. You see, First Baptist will say that today. First Presbyterian. The Crossings Church, the Redemption Church model that's so powerful with Mark Nelson downtown. We're all saying the same thing. And we're trying to live it together. We do have some challenges. That's my job, to remind myself it's never done. I like that part of my work. That's the way I'm wound. So I don't think I'm good at my job. I'm okay. But I do know one thing. I like challenges. And I have them every day. And so I offer them to you because they're your challenges. This is your place. So I really want you to hear me. These aren't my challenges. These really are yours as this congregation. They are challenges, by the way, that every congregation in the United States faces if they will be honest. Honesty is pretty important. The first one is this. Every congregation in the United States needs to grow younger. Not discard anyone. Use the wisdom that older persons have. I'm one of those now. Use the experience that we have. I'm one of those now, many of you. but to grow younger. Our job is to perpetuate ourselves into the future. Jesus said it this way. It is a biblical narrative. Make disciples. We need to take that seriously. We have partners. Look at the headmaster of the ESK. He has this. That's his daily job. We need to be in it too, and we are better at it if you look around, and it's because some of our younger clergy and younger staff. Like Skip Church. You think it's not inventive? You want to go back to the old way of doing Sunday school where nobody came? Go downstairs with 60, 70, 80 kids jumping around, saying prayers, doing the lesson, our teenagers leading, doing the music. It is the most creative thing I have seen in my life as a priest. Do you see what we're doing? We're not trying to be cute. We're trying to answer the call that we're about. We need to grow younger. And you'll see we're doing that in any expression and every expression. And it is not exclusive. It is inclusive. We are mindful about all ages. Clearly we are. Secondly, we need to keep our eyes on the right things. And we really need to keep our eyes on the right things. And there are a lot of things that are distracting. Our society is a distracted society. At St. John's, we try not to be distracted by issues that would drag us apart, by things that, some new thing comes along, oh, we're going to do that. Yes, we use television screens. You know why? Because you watch them. Because they work. So get over your adversity to technology. It's part of who we are. I want my Jumbotron. You're not going to give it to me, but anyway. But you catch it. We're not trying to be cute. People are trying to be cute with these things. We're not. We're trying to express the gospel. What more power can you sing the last 2 weeks? See, people that you never see, they're down below us about 2 floors doing video ministry. So we have hundreds, if not thousands, if not several thousand people joining us at worship. You don't know about that. I do, because people stop me all the time. Hey, I heard you preach. I'm like, well, how'd they hear me preach? TV? I don't even think about it. It's happening right now. So we need to keep our eyes on the right things. And I think they're these: pastoral care, spiritual growth for every person, whether they are 1 month old, 1 day old, or 98, and giving ourselves to others. When we cease being able to give who we are to others, we will cease being Christians. I'm going to say that again. Jesus had an exclusive way to think. Only when we give ourselves away are we truly who we are, and we're doing that. Are we through? No. Are there challenges? Yes. Can we do more? Yes. Is what we're doing effective? Yes. All the above. But the challenge still is there. And finally, I want to say one more thing before I stop. I think the real kernel will be for all of us, all churches in the United States, any congregation that thinks of itself as Christian, to re-energize itself around the issue, the thought, the need of community. You pay me for this, to tell you that it is our job to try to draw you in deeper into the life of this church. It is not to get you to do something. It is not to make you busier. It is not to distract you from something you'd rather be doing. It is the spiritual call to live together in Jesus and give yourself to this place. I have a friend who wrote a book who said, Christian values have won. He said, look around the society. Where do you think the society learned it? Our mothers and fathers who came to this country brought faith with them. It is a diverse faith, by the way. You can argue with me. I'm fine to do that. Not now. Come see me in my office. But Jews, all kind of folks, Christians, all kind of people are putting their faith into this place, into the places of their worship, and into the place that we call the United States. It does make us unique in the world. And I want to ask you, he may be right. Maybe our values won. They're being acted out at all levels. But do you really think if we're not here on Sunday, they will sustain themselves? Do you really? Do you really think if the church goes out of business, the United States is going to be okay? Because I'm going to tell you, I do not. I am not even joking. I think we keep this world running. This world called the United States. Because we keep alive the values of the very things I'm talking about. Diversity, thinking deeply about, we disagree, but we find solutions, that we love one another rather than hate one another. Those are Jesus' values. I didn't make them up. And where did I learn them? In a middle-class congregation when I was a young man and a boy growing up, and people like you taught me that. I didn't get them by going to college. I got them by being in church. That's why we're here. And I'm going to do everything I can to get you closer to the center of this congregation, because that's what's important. To give yourself here, to be here, to bring your children here. They will not get it at a distance. I promise you, watching their video screens will not give them what they get here at Skip Church. Nor do we get what we get from each other if we're not in a Bible study. So it's not do something more. Add more to your way. And say, I'm talking to the choir, y'all are here. I could be talking to people who are not here. That's where my mission is. And it's not to be mean. It's to say, I want you here. It gets more valuable when you're here because we live together in this enterprise. So you know what? I want to say again, God blesses everything we do. God blesses everything we give. And God blesses every part of who we are. Let's keep using it in the ways we have. They are rich and varied and valuable. And I promise you, Knoxville gets way more with us than without us. Amen.